Hello, everyone. Welcome to D&D with Shitlords. I'm your DM, Inquisitor. We have joining us the players, the party, the the victims. We have Icy playing Tiela.
Hello.
We have Punisher playing Garen.
Hello.
We have Sanguine playing Sanguine.
Hello, all.
We have Shady Grin joining us for the first time with Mayafune.
Mayafune or Mayafu. Now you got me confused.
It is inauspicious when you can't even say your own name.
Mayafe Une Relandar.
Mayafune, okay. And then we have Sarah Shaw or Eeyore as Sarah Shaw.
The evening.
So the big thing for this is the fact that you may notice that if you are a regular watcher of D&D with Shitlords, Shady has never played with us before. That's because he's going to be a new addition to the party. And we'll get into that shortly. Last time that we gathered saw the end of a prophesied event in the Hiscosa prophecy. They have a current scroll that outlines all of the prophecy. And the one that came to pass was when the dead walk, right?
Well,
they gotta-
the dead didn't have the decency to stay dead.
They got essentially a free ride out of the realm of Saranya by the unbeknownst Dark Lord of the realm, Anton Mizroy. And were able to travel into the mists. Little did they know, though, that as soon as they had passed through the misty barrier, a sort of odd sequence of events would happen. That the cold, damp mist would give way to a hot, sandy blasts as the terrain very suddenly and violently took a different turn for the worse. Essentially coming up on a riverbank, sort of like if they were to arrive on the Nile in ancient Egypt. And imagine the same sort of
Imagery.
greeting. Yeah, greeting as you would. The sort of animal life, the sort of imagery of it. Also, when the eventual dust clears from the impromptu misty sandstorm, the area has become unbearably hot. The captain of the riverboat and his few remaining crew immediately set about bringing the paddle boat to a sort of dry dock on the banks, and all of them have immediately shed like their protective clothing. They took off their leather jerkins, shed their silk shirts, all in sort of preparation and almost as if they expected this result. As soon as they make landfall, they lower out the gangplank and then look at you all expectantly.
When I noticed them start shucking out of their clothing, I would have also shed my armor.
Okay.
Fiala keeps hers on, but probably will regret it later.
I'm under the impression that Sarah Shaw is still nursing a hangover, so
Yes.
he's over the edge of the boat nursing said hangover.
Yes. Eventually, they kind of look a little bit more impatient at you, as if to say, "Get the fuck off my boat."
Glance over
I
to the others.
notice the hostility and I just jump off quickly, like, oh god.
Garen will make sure that everything's packed away back in his pack and climb off the boat nonchalantly.
Yep, grab all
Look
my
up.
shit, go off.
Look up, realize the look on their faces, and just sort of drag myself off the side of the boat into the water.
The captain holds a hand up at you and makes a gesture. Any of the the only the people that would be proficient in religion give me a check on it. So I think that should be Garen and Sarah Shaw, right?
Yep.
Yeah, my
Shaw's
check
too
was
busy drowning,
7.
though. He rolled off into the
Fit-
water.
I'm in the water. 15 is my check.
15. Sarah Shaw, you notice that the captain is giving a sign of protection, but kind of looking at you and giving the sign as if to say to ward you away from him as he pulls the boat away from you.
Garen will give him a courtly bow and flip him a silver piece.
So, shall we find out where the fuck we are?
Yes, let's go see where we are because, god damn, it's hot.
Yes, it is.
Hey, the water's cool enough.
Shall we just leave the drunk to drown?
I am tempted to say yes,
I'll say this.
but let's not.
Eeyore, Sarah Shaw, give me a quick perception check.
Very well. 14.
14. All right. One thing that you notice is, yes, of course, being in the water, it's definitely a lot cooler than it would be out in the blistering sun. However, from your position, the furthest away from the party, you look out just kind of haphazardly after saying, "Oh, the water's cool enough," out like beyond the water banks, and you see something very unnerving, almost as if like sort of to challenge you. Out in the distance, there seems to be this red haze, very, very dark, very angry sort of red haze, and it's slowly drifting over the water towards your direction.
Can't Fiala see this?
No, it's just Sarah Shaw because he's the closest, so to speak.
Noticing it, I would prefer to be at least on my own 2 feet, so I'll swim towards shore till the extent that it's at least only down to my waist.
Let's put it this way. It sobers you very quickly, given its rapidly approaching sort of nature.
I think he's saying ask for help.
I think he's saying get the fuck out of the water.
What's Sarah Shaw's wisdom score?
What do you mean my wisdom score?
He's trying to figure out if you're so obtuse you think it's trying to play with you.
Realizing that it continues to come for me, I completely get out of the water.
Okay. Also, give me another quick perception check too.
Very well. Nat 20.
Okay. You almost might have missed it as soon as you get out of the water, but that red haze sort of comes in almost as if to touch you, but ends right at the water's edge. And you also take a quick glance down, kind of looking as if, to see what or why it's not pursuing. It's not coming further. It almost seems like a sandstorm, but it's like barely contained within this sort of like barrier edge. You also notice one very unsettling thing. Right at the water banks, like right at the edge where you see the water reaching up to lap the sides of the bank, the water is boiling.
Well, water ain't cold anymore.
Did you pee in it?
No, it's boiling.
Like as
Ow.
if the water itself has come to such a high rapid temperature that steam is escaping up into this red haze, and you see the bubbles kind of coming up over the water edge and splashing against the riverbank.
Garen
Let's
turns
get away
to
from the boiling water.
Garen turns to Sarah Shaw, completely deadpan, and says, "In the future, say anything like, 'It can't get any worse,' or 'What could happen?' If you do, I will immediately kill you."
That's the
Deal.
priest.
As long as I get to hit you back.
You won't. You'll be dead.
That's the holy man. The holy man is
That
even
didn't
threatening.
stop anyone back from where we just came from.
Oh God! Even the holy man is threatening him now.
It's my duty to remove evil from the world.
You're calling me evil.
No, I'm saying
have
I
you
will
know-
consider it evil if you do that.
I have you know
Forewarned. A
that
big disclaimer is nobody's friend.
that I am a ordained acolyte of the Platinum Dragon. I am the exact opposite of evil, good sir. Ugh. Blasted son.
Yes, another thing too. As soon as your scaly claws touch ground in the sandy surface away from the riverbanks, it's completely unbelievably hot. It's the sort of heat that makes you want to just kind of crawl into a dune, roll over, and die.
Let's go. I want to find some white clothing.
Yeah. Let's go see if we can get something less sweaty.
Okay, so how are you?
I have half the mind to drop my armor right now in this heat.
How are you going to go about doing this? You're pretty much on the bank of a river, completely desolate. There's no civilization in sight.
Follow the river upstream.
Okay.
And you know which way is upstream, my friend.
This is a
Yeah,
desert
they
where
didn't
there is
really
water.
give
There
us
will be
any
people
directions,
eventually.
did they?
Good point.
I grab a piece of paper out of my bag. I throw the piece of paper into the water.
As soon as it hits that hazy wall, instantly ignites into flames.
Well then,
Which way is the soot stain moving?
Give me a perception check.
everybody or
No, Sanguine, because he's the one that's performing this action.
Let me pull it up. One moment. I forgot to get this out. 15.
15. You kind of guess that in one direction is sort of where the current is leading. You also would imagine at this point that it seems odd. It does have a current, but the banks of this area and everything you had seen before, it's less of a river and more of a sea. So it seems odd that there would be a current this close to landfall.
That's weird.
Well, the fact that the
well,
river just
it's-
burst your.
Shit's kind of moving that way. But should this much water have a current?
I don't think so, but I am not a pro on water. I am, but okay. I come from shippers.
Icy is, but
Yeah.
TL.
Yeah, that's why I'm whispering like I am, but TL isn't.
Garen, do you have any clue if this should actually be moving? Or is it so big it should just kind of be lapping at us?
I'm sorry, what was that?
I was gonna ask that the sun combined with the hangover would give Sarah Shaw one hell of a headache.
Yes, yes. And Sanguine, what were you saying?
I asked Garen if he has any clue if this much water should be moving in a specific direction or just kind of lapping towards us.
I don't know. I can't see the other side of it, so I don't know what kind of water it is. It could be a river. It could be an ocean. I'm not a sailor.
Wait, river
Maybe-
get this fucking big?
Maybe we go on solar direction? I mean, sun mostly is in the correct spot, right?
Yes, but one thing that is sort of odd, how you'd seen the sun when you were in Saranya was very high up in the air, kind of like you were in the middle of a revitalization, a spring, so to speak. It was coming, it was coming closer to so that the days would be longer, but by the same token, it was still far enough away for it to be cold. When you look up into the sun or look up into the sky now and see the sun, it is so much closer, as if to say that this area is in the middle of well, not even the middle, in like the very beginning stages of summer, as if whatever sort of sunlight you're getting now, this is just the beginning.
Okay. I kind of meant it like Yella saying it to her party members, like maybe we should go on the direction of the sun rather than the stream or the water. But
Was there some specific place we were supposed to be like trying to go or find when we got here?
Not really. Anton Mizroy was just the sort of guy like saying, "Hey, thank you for helping me out. Here, I'll give you a free ticket out of Saranya. That's what you wanted, right?"
and
We need to get better at negotiating.
directions.
Okay, next time I'm gonna make a deal with the person.
And ask for directions.
I don't like
Maybe
this.
a map.
Let's start moving. Hopefully we move in the right direction. Anyone have a direction we want to move?
Sarah Shaw points right out into the desert and says, "That way."
Let's
If we
go the
knew
other
where there
way.
was a place around here, I could get us directions to it, but unfortunately we have nowhere to go.
Well, Sarah Shaw's pointing that way, so my suggestion is the other way.
Well, the
Into
other way would be,
boiling stream.
right, yeah, I would say it would be right back into the boiling water.
I say we
Me
move
like-
either that way or that way. I say pointing perpendicular to the water. Or parallel to the water, rather.
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
All right, let's call this direction up the coast and see what's in that way a bit.
Sounds good. Start moving that way.
Okay. Now, real quick, what is everyone wearing when it comes to their armor?
Shit.
I
I
switched
am-
out of mine.
I am in all leather.
I'm
I'm unhappy.
I'm the poor bastard in the chainmail.
Okay. So you need to give me a let's see here, where is it? There we go. You need to give me 2 constitution checks.
He's wearing a shirt of scale mail.
Punisher, you need to give me 2 Constitution checks as well.
First one is 15, and the second is 11.
Okay.
18. 4.
Okay.
I need to do 2 as well, right?
No. Everyone else needs to only give me 1.
Okay, I rolled 16.
Okay. Sanguine?
I rolled 10.
10. All right. The only person that suffers any ill effects is currently Garen. Garen, after about 20 minutes, you guys continue walking down these riverbanks. The sun is not letting up, and after a very long time, you would figure that at least the position would have moved slightly. It hasn't. And you are becoming fairly dehydrated. You're sweating through your scale mail very, very rapidly. You are currently at the first stage of heat stroke, meaning you have a -1 to every check.
Okay.
After about
I will go ahead and heal off my scale mail now.
Okay. How long does it take to doff?
It's just a shirt, so probably a couple of rounds. I'll check.
Yeah, so yeah, there's rules for how long it takes to don and doff the armor.
The precise time for doff for medium is 1 minute. PHB 146.
Yeah, medium armor is 1 minute. Yeah. Okay.
But I have help, so I can reduce it if I have.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, if you have help from the party, helping you get out of your armor.
Ew.
I'll definitely help.
Okay. You also, go ahead and stuff that into your backpacks and continue on. After a few short more minutes, you see something odd in the distance. Out into the like more desert area to your right, you see what looks to be a broken down wagon. And all of the people who've been here since the beginning, so Garen, Sarashaw, and Olvir, all immediately recognize that wagon as being something that you've seen similar of. You've seen this back on that island with the young woman that gave you the fortune. Olvir immediately, his face brightens up.
Oh yeah, he's here too. I almost forgot.
Yeah.
Oops.
Let's get into the shade of that.
I doubt there's going to be much room for it, and with how hot it is out.
I prefer we keep looking for a town, but that's just me.
Talk to them because they may know where something is.
Yeah, let's get into the shade, see if anyone's alive. If there isn't anyone alive, steal the shit, then keep moving.
Why is it that you are talking about stealing more than me?
Because
I'm
the
the
dead
thief.
don't need it. Have you not heard of raiding? Have you not heard of
Again,
looting
I
for-
am the thief here. I thought you were the warlock.
Yeah.
I'll
I
have to
learned
agree with.
I learned very quickly that once a fight's done, the dead don't need it, the living do.
Fair enough.
Of course. Usually I'd agree with you too, but right now, rule of the desert. If they don't need it, we need it.
You're quick to change your mind.
Well, it's that or take a lovely ride to the Platinum Dragon. And I personally, after my last performance, don't want to see him.
Immediately, as soon as you start talking about that, a brief flash comes back into your mind. You didn't see the Platinum Dragon at all when you were on the other side. In fact, you felt almost isolated from the warm glow that you get when you do your prayers in the morning.
Upon seeing that in my mind, my face just goes blank.
You're having memories, don't you?
In the fucking desert.
So let's go say hello.
Yes, let's go say hello.
Okay.
What's up? What? Why didn't I see him? Why?
Indeed.
Why?
I think he's just mumbling to himself.
You know, just that flash has shaken Sarah Shaw to his core.
Mm-hmm. As you approach the wagon, you notice that there's a couple of figures outside of it, and the wagon is not moving. And,
I ready a spell.
from what you can see, the figures outside of the wagon are moving about it as if they're trying to get to something on the outside, or whatever.
That makes no difference. I ready a spell.
Okay.
Tiela goes up front and goes like, "Are you having trouble?"
You see, as you take the initiative and come out in front, there are 5 men standing around the wagon, all of which are kind of moving about it, either digging at the ground or trying to remove bits from the wagon on the side. And as you approach and say something to them, the men stare at you in stony silence. Their hostile gazes make sharp contrast to their festive clothes. A beautiful young girl appears behind the wagon. Her long, dark hair is captured in a red silk bandana. Garish jewelry adorns her neck and fingers. My name is Dulcime, and we would be grateful for your help.
I immediately step up upon seeing her. Ah, your wagon's stuck. We can help.
Yes, it appears one of our wheels is broken. We have a spare to replace it, but my brothers, they cannot lift the wagon. They have tried, and we would be grateful for any assistance. We can reward you fairly for your help. And right then, as soon as she says that, one of the men kind of shoots her a dark look and says, "You have no right to promise them anything of ours."
Your brothers seem not too happy with us. I mean, we want to help, but...
Garen says the most that we would need of you is directions and possibly escort to some that is not in the middle of the desert.
She looks at her brother who said that to her, and she goes, "I have the right since mother died. I will lead this family now, and I grant them a boon if I say they help us."
I look over
Come
at
on,
Olvir.
Sanguine, you heard him.
I look over
I
at
lean
Olvir.
over to Sanguine and I'll
lift
go
it.
like, "Perry!" Like, the suspicious in the actual sigil talk.
Yeah, you think I wasn't Fury already? And I walk over after looking over at Olvir and say, "Help lift," and go to one side of where the broken wheel is and get ready to try to lift up with whoever comes over.
Okay.
I assume we're all going to help, right?
Oh, I was already halfway there.
Okay. I'm going on the opposite side that needs people.
Okay. It takes you a little while. The young men, they sort of kind of give you stink eyes, and they don't help you at first, but after they realize that you are in earnestly helping them, they go and they get the wheel, and they begrudgingly put the wheel back on the wagon. And Dulcime comes out of the Vardo after the wheel has been replaced, regards you all and says, "Yes, thank you for your help. Here," she holds out a small sack of coins. It isn't much, but I can give you this, and we are headed in the one direction that we know there to be civilization, at least some sort of civilization. We've only been here once, and my brothers, they're not happy about being here.
You're not certain of the direction, but you know that there is a place out there?
We know that there is civilization in one specific direction, yes.
I take the purse kind of hefted in my hand, and I say, "How much would it be to ride along?"
It would be our pleasure to take you.
Well, thank you
Glance
for
over
the
at the other.
offer.
Do you know what the name
Thank
of
you.
this place we're going to is?
No, we've never been there ourselves. It is very not friendly to our kind at first. We've heard stories, but I've never been there myself. We've only heard of this area based on its geography before from our other bands that we've met. And she holds out a hand sort of in a dainty gesture, by the way, and she offering her hand, and she goes, "We are Vistani, travelers, and we tell stories among each other, and most of us have never been in this territory before, but we have heard of it. Hence why my brothers are so angry with me."
And when she offers the hand, saying, sketches a quick bow and takes the hand. Just kind of the normal.
Mm-hmm.
As does Garen. Manners and all.
Yes.
Yep.
I assume that I don't need to do that.
No.
If it's all the same to you, madam, I would prefer to walk alongside the carriage. Last time I was in a wagon, it didn't end well.
That's just because
Last time you
drank
were in a
it, right?
wagon, you filled your face with alcohol.
I said a wagon, not a carriage.
Okay. Whatever. Potato, potato.
Is that Icy or Tiela?
Diella.
Sarah Shaw gets an extremely angry look right at Tiela.
What?
You dare make fun of my last ride in a wagon? Do you not know what occurred?
We
Well,
just met you
no.
how long ago?
Yeah, so yeah, you've only known these people for like what, 3 days now?
We
Yes.
didn't have much time to reminisce about our past to each other, did we?
No. Well,
You
So
last
getting
time-
angry at me for something I don't know, not too smart.
the last time I was in a wagon, I ended up being the only survivor.
See, now I understand you. Sorry for that. But otherwise,
That wagoner must have been a terrible driver.
Yeah.
That wagoner was my father.
And answer the question.
Sanguine, shh. He's already on edge. And the
Yeah,
others
he's
are
also
too.
unarmored.
Yeah, but we also have other people who are on edge. Let's not make it 6. I guess we're coming along then. Thank you for your help.
Okay. I'm guessing you all either pile into the Vardo or, like Sarah Shaw, want to ride or walk on the outside.
Can I sit on top?
Sure.
Tiela sits on top.
I will say this though, you'll know that sitting on top definitely gives you more exposure to the sun.
Yes, but considering we have 5 people who are on edge, including our own party member, which makes 6, I prefer to be on top in the sun.
Okay.
And keep an eye out for BS.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, I have my warhammer and longsword drawn.
Okay. You don't really draw a hammer. It's kind of already out of its scabbard. Doesn't really have a scabbard.
Well, it could have a hit frog.
You could keep it in a frog, yeah.
You could keep it in a frog, yeah.
That's sort of what it's in.
Okay.
Just pull it out.
All right. So I'm assuming all of you either pile into the Vardo or take a ride. Anyone who is outside of the wagon needs to give me another Constitution saving throw.
13.
Does resting inside the wagon help with my exhaustion?
Staying inside means that it's not going to get worse.
Like I said, I nat 20 that.
Okay, and Icy, what'd you get?
I got a 13.
13? Just barely, Icy. But after a while, you kind of it's getting unbearable staying in the sun. And Sarah Shaw, you do whatever you can to take a moment in the shade of the wagon from time to time, and very deftly avoid any of the heat. The rest of you, I'm guessing, are in the Vardo.
Yep, I'm in the Bardo.
Can I, like, mid-ride get in, swing myself in, open the door and go like, what?
Yeah, you're dexterous enough, I'd say, yeah.
Okay, so eventually I just barge in. Hi!
Hello.
Got a little too hot outside.
Yeah, you see Sanguine, like, kind of just nonchalantly. You see, oh god, what was her name again? Dulcime, just kind of tending a lot of her items in the Vardo, and you see Garen just kind of just breathing very heavy, trying to catch his breath. And it's like, it's not catching. It's a sort of, yeah. If you've ever been out in the heat that long, doing sort of exhausting work, and not being able to catch your breath, that's what it feels like. And
if Tiela can lay on the floor, she will lay on the floor pretty much now. Like, oh, that's the most cool place I can be now.
Real quick, Sarah Shaw, since you're the only one outside of the Vardo, give me a perception check.
Lovely. That will be an 18.
An 18. Out in the distance, after you take a sort of rest in the shade of the Vardo for a second, you notice a figure out in the distance, probably about maybe 100 feet off from what the Vardo's been traveling on. And you also notice that the Vardo is actually traveling on a packed dirt road rather than trying to traverse the sandy dunes.
Is this figure showing any signs of hostility?
The figure is holding up its arms as if to shield its eyes from the sun and watch you.
Who goes there?
It's about 100 feet out. Are you? Who goes there?
Just enough not to strain my. Just enough to not to strain my vocal cords.
Okay. Well, Mayafune?
What was just said?
Oh. Shoot. I just sort of ignore because I can barely see. I want to get a closer look. So I'm straining my eyes trying to get a look at them.
It's even worse for you. Everything I've been describing to everyone else, it's entirely worse for you because you're in the sun. It
What
feels
did-
like you're on fire.
So I'm sort of hurriedly heading towards, hoping to get shade or at least force my way onto the caravan.
One thing you do know is that where you were, the reason why you hadn't really been moving any further is because of one feature of the land that you had noticed and approached and were investigating, was that there is a desiccated hand sticking up out of the dune, just kind of in a sort of position of like rest, so to speak. But yeah, it's just sticking up out of the sand, and you were investigating that, and then you saw the
Okay.
the Vardo approaching.
So I sort of raised my hand in a gesture of stop or beckoning.
Mm-hmm.
Stop and maybe beckon one of them to come. Sort of inspect.
Okay, I just cut out for a second time. What did I just miss?
I was describing that one thing that Mayafune was taking a look at was a desiccated hand that was seen like just barely sticking up out of the dunes of the sand. That's what initially drew her.
What was it that Sarah Shaw saw, and what's happening to us in the wagon? I cut out 2 times right in a row, so I didn't hear anything for about 30 seconds or more.
Sarah Shaw saw a figure in the distance, kind of holding its arms up to shield itself from its eyes. None too thinly veiled. That's Mayafune. And yeah, he yelled out, "Who goes there?" And yeah.
So the figure is running towards the wagon.
I don't know. Are you? No, you're beckoning them towards, right?
Yeah, I'm sort of saying hold and just have one come. Trying to basically beckon just the wagon, proceed with caution.
Mm-hmm.
And trying to beckon a single individual over. And I don't know. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Try to think how this.
If I see the beckon, Sarah Shaw will begin approaching the figure, but both weapons drawn and ready.
Oh boy.
Are you just gonna leave the wagon moving? Or are you gonna tell the 5 brothers to stop?
About 25 paces or so out, I ask the wagon, "Halt! I need to check something."
Okay. The brothers comply, but they're kind of
Impatient.
muttering amongst themselves somewhat angrily.
Are we noticing that it stopped?
Yes, you would notice the wagon has stopped.
Then Tiela opens up and looks around why we stopped, and probably sees Sarah Shaw just walking off.
Yes.
What the hell are you doing?
We are being watched. I am ensuring that if it is a foe, it is dispatched immediately.
And you're going alone?
Come with me if you so desire, thief.
-2.
I
Guys,
stepped out of the wagon.
The dragon is being a dumbass again. Let's go.
Why?
You've known him for longer than we have, and you need to ask why he's being an idiot.
I stopped asking.
That's why I didn't finish the question.
I'm just accepting the fact that he's an adult cove.
Yeah.
I will talk to our gracious hosts and find out what they believe is going on and why they've stopped the wagon.
Fiala just runs after Sershaw like, oh, fuck. Okay, sword out.
You see a bunch of figures just like emerging out of the caravan or that wagon and all coming towards you all at once, Mayafune.
Shit, I'm not moving. I'm just standing outside.
Fiala uses thaumaturgy on herself and goes like, "Are you okay?" To make her voice resonate farther, so they don't need to get too close.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
How far off?
Well, thank you for shouting right in my ear, lady.
She just hits him the bird.
Inquisitor, about how far off are we?
Like I said, anyone in the wagon is about 100 or so feet away from the figure in the distance.
Yeah, that's close enough for me.
Just
With range disadvantage.
No,
or does he?
I don't get range disadvantage for that. That's just a spell range.
What do you mean when you say that?
What kind of dragon are you descended from?
Silver.
Silver is dominant, but there is a bronze father.
Game terms, you're silver.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Mayafune hears Fiala's question. Or wait, can you say the question again?
It booms
Are you
out
okay?
over. Yeah, it booms out over the dunes.
I respond, I'm absolutely miserable. But I'm afraid to go any further.
Tiela kind of goes ahead of Mr. Sershaw. Meet up with her.
I say, shout out, approach with caution. There's some suspicious ground here.
Oh, okay. So she kind of slows her pace and looks around for eventually maybe the danger. Or hopefully, potentially.
So, just a quick question, not the character. Can I get a quick rundown on the classes and races of everybody here, or that I can see?
Everyone you can see, obviously Dragonborn Paladin, and a Tiefling Rogue are what's approaching you.
Okay.
And there's a big ass black spot near the wagon.
All right.
Like hell spawning back.
So how far would Tiela be from me by now? Or in both of them?
I'd say Tiela is probably closer, considering that after you responded with "I'm miserable," she said that she was outpacing Sershaw, headed towards it. I'd say by this point, Tiela is probably 30 feet away, so you can actually get a good look at her, and Sershaw is probably about 50 feet away.
Do I know what a drow is? I assume I do. Because
Actually, no.
no. Okay.
Never seen a drow before.
Okay. I look at her and I'm like, what? What is this? This is new? Because probably the black skin, or at least very dark gray skin, makes me go,
The ashy skin and the stark white hair. Yeah.
yeah. I probably would think to myself, first off, like, tiefling, and then I look better and I'm like, wait, no horns, no tail. What the heck?
A little surprised by the reaction and the concern. Mayafune just sort of goes with the flow. And would you happen to... Oh, shoot. I just lost my train of thought. Sorry. Who is the fellow you're traveling with?
The big guy over there behind me?
Yeah.
His name is Sersha. I'm Thiela.
By now, Saoirse, you've approached enough. You notice immediately what this figure is, and you've seen them before. You also know their reputation. It's a drow.
State your business now, Underdarkling, before I lop off your head.
And why are you being hostile?
Because him and her people are nothing but traitorous, backstabbing murderers.
You said it about me as well.
Well, I mean it this time. I may have never met one of your kind, but I have read about drow. Now I will not
Maybe
ask
she's
again.
different?
Ha!
Yeah. Do I notice anything like strange in her behavior? Because I, of course, from being a thief, have met people with bad intentions.
I don't know. Do you have bad intentions, my friend?
No, but I have something of a wry smile. I'm amused by the behavior of both of them. Though less the paladin.
Welcome.
I look to the paladin and Savior. I tell him, save your pious rhetoric. I'm in no mood for a quarrel right now.
Sersha, we're with a lot of more people. Let's just help her and see what happens then.
I say let her face the desert alone.
I just keep walking out to Maya, kind of shrugging off what Sersha's saying, because I believe in, of course, doing a good deed despite what I am, charity. So I'm going over to help her. Maybe stand up.
Inquisitor.
Mm.
Is Sarashaw's body language overt enough that I can tell from where I am?
I'm assuming you've got your weapons at least partially raised, right?
Yeah, well, my sword's actually pointed directly at his neck.
Okay. Sure, hers.
Hers, his.
Sorry.
That's fine. That's fine.
I have my weapon away by now because I'm trying to help, of course.
In that case, seeing that Tiela no longer has her weapon out and Sarashaw still has his weapon out and pointed at the other person, I'm going to groan, mumble Malach, and cast Thaumaturgy on myself, making my voice 3 times louder, and just say, Sarashaw, you're still within my range. Don't make me hit you from here.
I say, what the hell is it with you people and shouting? My head's pounding right now.
Yeah, I would say, if anything, you feel worse than Sarashaw did after his hangover. Being in the sun for as long as you've been now, yes, you were downright fucking miserable.
Well, Tiela has put Maya's arm around her so she can help her walk a little bit towards the wagon, and she's like, "Yeah, sorry, we're a weird group. Let's keep it at that."
Tiela, away from her. She hasn't answered my question. Last chance before I kill you.
Again, you have heard what he said. You're in shot, so shut up and let's get her to the wagon.
I sheath my warhammer, pull out my holy symbol, and cast Abjure Enemy upon the drow.
What spell is that?
It's not a
Abjure
spell.
Enemy?
It's Channel Divinity, Abjure Enemy.
And that would do what?
It's a wisdom saving throw. Unless it's immune to being frightened.
It's not. So.
What is it?
Wisdom saving throw.
So I roll a d20?
Yeah, and add your wisdom. What's your spell save DC, Sarashaw?
13.
Is it the pinpoint thing, or am I being targeted here as well?
It's single target.
Okay.
So I rolled a 13, and my wisdom is +2.
Okay. What oath did you take, Sarah Shaw?
Vengeance.
Vengeance. Okay, let me see here. Channel divinity. Abjure enemy.
Watch everybody go on Sarah Shaw right now, because fuck.
Frighten for 1 minute. Will frighten. Okay. Maya, you notice it becomes actually much harder to move. Your legs seems to have like stiffened up, and when Tiela came by and actually kind of put her arm under, put your arm around her shoulder and carrying you around, you actually kind of need it now.
I reach up and grab Tiela's collar just to try and stay upright.
Tiela's like, fuck, this just got a lot harder, and she just looks at Sarah Shaw like, I am going to stab you in your sleep.
I look to Sarah Shaw and say, I've lost my quarry. In the middle of nowhere. The heat is killing me. I'm wearing black. My skin is black. My head is pounding. What is your problem? I'll explain everything once we're in the shade.
You also found this body over there that everyone seems to be ignoring now.
Yeah. And then there's this suspicious
problem-
looking
Get away
corpse.
from the body, you fucking dragon dolt.
My problem is a person who, the moment they have my back available, will put a knife there.
We're with how many people by now? 5?
Well,
6?
And
That's
the other day
everybody you know.
Paladin.
and then the 5 Vistani too. There's 10 of you grand total, and then there's
We're
now
with
minus
10
Maya.
people! Shut up! And help me carry! This is your fault.
I looked to Sarah Shaw and said, any other day you may be right, but I'm a little outnumbered here, and I have no intention of committing suicide.
We'll see about that. And I put away my sword and wait until Tiela and Maya pass me before returning to the carriage.
So he's not helping. Good job. You are truly a paladin of marvelous grandeur and whatnot. I sing in your whatever. I don't care.
I love how Tiela's bought into this hook, line, and sinker there, Maya.
Well, she's that's one of the issues. Her ideals are charity, and she sees somebody who is in need, and she doesn't know what drow are.
It's true. It's very true.
She's
Um,
just thinking
I,
that Maya's a deformed tiefling.
Pretty
I
much.
reach. I sort of.
Esther,
Go ahead.
By the way, I just
um,
when I pass Sarah Shaw, I just want to slap him in the face with my tail because it doesn't do anything. Just like asshole.
So I.
Make an attack roll with disadvantage.
Advantage.
Double nat 20.
It's a 15.
15 even with disadvantage?
No, I don't know how much on disadvantage goes
You
off.
rolled another
Disadvantage,
die.
you roll twice and pick the lowest result.
Oh, okay. One moment then. Then it's still 15 because I rolled a 17.
Yeah, that definitely beats your passive armor, considering that you've taken your chainmail off, right, Eeyore?
no, I'm still fully chained up.
Quick
That's
question: Does
17
that
to
count
be-
as a finesse weapon?
I didn't meant to actually hurt him. I just like a bitch slap.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out exactly, because like you got the AC and all sorts of other stuff. I think with your proficiency bonus and everything like that, though, it would beat 17. So yeah, Eeyore, yeah, you get a kind of a meaty tail just like thwap right across your dragon snout as Tiela walks by.
You traitorous woman! Stop, Tiela. Let me bind her hands.
You can when we are at the wagon. Give it 5 minutes.
I'll
Stop
hold
being
you to
so
that word.
freaking Jesus.
Hurry up and get the poor lady in the shade. She's been out in the hot sun so long that her skin's charred.
I'm still standing by the wagon. I'm assuming.
Good.
They're arguing.
I hope I'm closer to Sanguine, and if I'm close to Sanguine, that he can hear me. I'm like, please help me carry her. She's getting very heavy.
So while all this is going on, I sort of inspect Tiela for valuables.
She's got a walking stick on her back that is very, very, very finely made.
Well, I can't exactly pickpocket that, can I?
You want to pickpocket
Does
the
she
thief?
have any water?
Nope. I have a soap.
And then
I also have marbles and a whetstone.
I have soap on a rope.
I just realized our tieflings are the cleanest people of our party.
It's all about civilization.
a little frustrated that the mark is a little empty. I turn to Sarah Shaw. I grab the whip on my side and I try to trip him up with it, just out of spite.
Give me an attack roll.
He gets whipped double. First by tail and now by an actual whip.
5 + 4.
Okay. Not enough. You do unleash the whip and crack it right at Sarah Shaw's feet. So.
He gets whipped by whip.
I respond by grabbing my longsword in both hands and bashing him with the back end of it, not the blade.
Okay, make an attack roll.
You're trying to attack a whip?
That is going to be 9 to go.
I'm sorry, what?
9 to go.
9? No. You take a wide sweeping arc with the cross guard and pommel, and Maya just kind of sidesteps it. Kind of leans into Tiela a little bit as she sidesteps, but yeah.
At this point,
I swear to God, I am going to kill you.
That may be true, but I will kill this murderous bitch first.
I genuinely want Tiela now to go just give Maya to Sanguine and just turn around and kind of want to punch him, but I probably won't because that's not a good idea.
At this point, I'm just grinning ear to ear, laughing at all of this. I find it very amusing.
Okay, I hope we're close to Sanguine. I'm like, Sanguine, please, do you have some rope or grab it from my backpack or whatever and tie her up because seemingly she's something that is not okay, but she is also in need of help.
I let out some rope and I say, I think you're better at knots than I am.
Yeah, okay. So I take the rope and I'm like to Maya, like, sorry, but he has been here longer. I'm going to assume that he is correct, so sorry. And I just tie her hands up and preferably also her feet because I don't trust anything.
You do this by the time you guys get back to the Vardo, so that way you're in the blessed shade.
Yes.
Maya, you immediately there's an immediate difference when you get out of the sunlight. Yes, you feel infinitely better. But yes, your hands are now bound. Yeah.
Tiela now turns to Sarah Shaw and she wags her finger at him. Don't say I don't listen to you. You're just being a Asshole.
You're being a
Being a
butt.
what?
You're being a butt.
Meanwhile, while they're
Well,
doing this, I'm trying to finesse my way out of the binds.
Am I capable of seeing this while he's doing so? I mean, while she's doing so.
Yeah, are you trying to be stealthy by doing it, Maya?
Yes.
Give me a stealth check.
All right.
Contested by my perception.
So 16 plus my stealth proficiency is +6.
Okay. Yes, perception. Made with disadvantage, though.
Disadvantage.
Do I also need to roll?
No. The perception is a
No,
disadvantage.
for me.
Oh, because it's the sun?
That will be a...
I'm sorry?
Do I also need to roll Inquisitor? Or
No, it's just Sarah Shaw is trying to
Okay.
keep an eye on him.
It's a 10 to go.
Okay, no, you don't see it. You can make an escape artist check if you'd like, Maya.
Okay. So how do I do that? Just the same?
D20 plus, I think it's your dex mod?
Okay, so D20 plus 4.
wow,
8.
she has more dex than me.
Not enough. You can't wiggle your way out of the binds yet. But
I utter a silent shit.
After checking up on the prisoner, I turn back to Tiela. Of course I'm right, and the reason I do this is to ensure that you and everyone else doesn't wake up with their necks slit open.
I'm beginning to think
Sure
that'll
you
be an
don't wake
improvement
up that
for
way.
you.
I think he's right. I think you're the one having to sleep with an eye open now. Just saying.
Oh, trust me, one suspicious move and that drow is dead.
I wasn't talking about the drow.
I'm starting mumbling under my breath. 5 years. 5 years without running into assholes like this.
And if they ever were assholes, they weren't assholes for very long because you were able to like get them isolated and take them out one by one.
Yeah. I also
Well,
sort of wondering how I even got out here.
We'll cover that in a bit.
Okay.
So shall we get back on the road now?
Tiela,
Yes, let's.
I agree. Tiela, ensure the prisoner doesn't try to escape, and if does try,
I'll keep an eye on her.
I'm gonna say for me, you're a robot in a little bit there, buddy.
Yeah, same.
Yeah,
Same for
same.
me. But I understood what he said, and Yana will keep an eye on Maya.
What about that
I'm
dead
just-
body back there?
Yeah, ignore the dead body by now because Shrek.
Yeah,
Don't
before-
bite on the map. But okay.
I was never told about a body.
I don't even want to
Before the
remind
wedding,
me.
Yeah, Tiela just looks at Sanguine and she's like, yeah, this girl pointed at something of importance. It looked like a dead hand, but it didn't do anything so far.
Should we check it for anything interesting?
If you want,
Sure.
we could also just start writing and be like bolted.
At this point, I don't want to say anything because I'm a little pissed. Like, screw them.
I'm more thinking to myself, like,
Are my legs
Garen
back to
thinking?
normal?
I'm sorry.
Are my legs back to normal?
Yeah, it lasts for what, a minute, right?
But they are
Yeah.
tied.
Yeah.
I tied your hand and your feet.
Also, I'm doing a close inspection of everybody inside the wagon.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Did you guys put him inside the Vardo? Did you put her inside the
yeah, we
Yeah.
tossed him in.
Vardo? Inside this Vardo, it's lavish. tons of like very rich, vibrant colors, jewelry, tassels, clinking metal, what you think could be gold, could be, sorts of valuables that you might want to sell, so on and so forth. But also, none of these people seem to be the owners.
So I sort of mutter, feels like home. And like, whose wagon is this? I say to
the wagon is of the Vistani, the people on the outside who were, well, riding this thing.
I'll look over at Garen. So, do you want to get Piri about the skeleton?
Yes.
Lead on.
Should I?
Take the dragon head. I'll stay with her.
Dragon head.
Personally, Tail, I would prefer some time alone with the prisoner.
No,
I'm sure you
No,
would.
that's not going to happen.
The majority is going to look at the thing, and I'm going to stay here with her because, blah, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You have armor you could put on and be more protected than I am. Could be.
Very well. I'll stay outside the carriage to make sure if she escapes, she barely gets 10 paces.
Hello, we're getting Piri about the skeleton. Anything happens, give cry. I'm able to make it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just be careful, please. Come back whole.
The only person that might end up in the dune is Saoirse.
Jaren will go with him.
Are my legs
He
free?
seems very much that he wants to stay here because of her. So I don't know how much help he will be.
Saoirse, go up front.
And if
Forcing
that
him.
murderous bitch kills your girlfriend,
I promise. I will. I have a sword. I have daggers. I have everything that I can to stop her. Don't
are
worry.
you willing to use them though?
Yes, I'm willing to use them. I will listen to you. Don't worry. I also tied her up like you said. Just go.
Good.
Now,
Check the knots. She
you're-
likely already has tampered with them.
your legs are bound, Maya.
Oh, damn. I was going to pull off some sort of gymnastics feat and strangle her.
No. Fiala is a thief. She's not stupid. She's like, if I keep those if I keep those feet free, she can do stuff.
And with that, I shall follow, or go with Sanguine and Garen.
Yeah, I was about to say, shit, follow it? No, you're up front.
And Olver, I assume. Just saying.
Okay. Olvir's actually he's staying behind with
Okay.
oh god, what was her name? Dulcime? Yeah,
Okay.
Dulcime. He's fascinated with her. She's very much sort of like, what the fuck is this guy's problem? Sort of thing. But yeah, he's fascinated with her.
Ladies man, I can
No, it's mainly because of his connection to his mother.
Yeah, I don't know this, though.
Yeah, I know.
So that was Sanguine saying that.
Sanguine, not sanguine.
Yes, Sanguine, not Sanguine.
Okay, so the three of you that go to investigate this this landmark, you notice a desiccated hand just kind of like being held up in a sort of position like that out of the dunes. It looks like flesh that's barely being held onto bone.
Well, go on, give it a shake.
Ha!
Like stripped by the sand.
It's not been
In
stripped by
all
the sand,
likelihood.
but it's definitely desiccated, as if whatever moisture was inside has somehow long since evacuated the body.
Can we dig it out a bit?
Yeah, you take a little bit of time, making sure to do it in shifts so that you're not overexerting yourself, and you shift the sand away, and barely maybe a couple of feet down in the dune is what looks to be fully mummified body, just lying in the sand.
Great. Another dead body. Sanguine, you know what to do with it.
I'd check it for anything valuable.
Nothing valuable. The body. The body is wearing tatters of what looks to be some sort of robe, but it's long since aged.
So none of it useful.
No.
Oh, shit. Okay, pound it. Just over blast.
Okay.
Once there's nothing remaining.
I'm sorry?
I will say...
With your first blast, it shatters the chest of the corpse, burning away bits of its desiccated flesh. You get the sense that what you're essentially doing is you're like taking a bit of a TIG torch and like burning holes in beef jerky.
Nice. I'll keep blasting until nothing's there.
Okay.
Garen says some last rites over it and then pushes some sand back over top of the remains.
What remains? I'm leaving nothing.
The dust that is left.
Okay.
I want to.
That's it. That's it.
That's it. We'll go back.
Okay.
Yep.
While I'm in the whatchamacall, I do a I use my primeval awareness to check the area.
Okay. You see a ton of humanoids.
Ton of humanoids.
Mm-hmm.
That says a lot.
Mainly humans.
Okay. So we're near civilization.
Yes.
Okay. I let out a sort of a sigh. No, not a sigh. Sorry. I just kind of roll my eyes because I'm only beginning. I feel. I still haven't really figured out that I'm in a place where the only person who really knows what I am.
Yeah.
So I roll my eyes like, oh, I'm fucked.
Well, it's you do notice one thing. The young woman that's also in the Vardo, when they brought you in, she's looking at you kind of quizzically, and she leans in fairly close to you and says, "Your life is one full of sadness, and there is a tiny tinge of regret, but there is also a lot of anger and wrath."
I tell her, unless you want to feel it, please back away.
And she, slowly, kind of backs away.
Please do behave. Don't make the dragon head be true on you, please. I don't want to give him that satisfaction.
I also sort of lock eyes with the woman who just whispered to me,
Mm-hmm.
and not let my eyes off of her. A little concerned with her insight.
As I'm walking back to the wagon with Sarashaw and Garen, I just kind of go, "So, Sarashaw, you seem to know what the fuck she is. What exactly is she?"
She is a drow. They are elves that have chosen to go subterranean. They worship a god of murder and treachery. And
I
they
yell out.
are,
Can I hear them?
I don't know. Are you being loud enough that you would?
I'd
You
just be
trying to be heard?
conversational.
I'm speaking at normal level as well.
Okay. I would say give me a perception check with disadvantage, Maya.
Okay, disadvantage would be
Roll the d20 twice and pick the lowest result.
4.
4? No.
Yeah,
No, you didn't
okay.
hear it.
So what you're saying is assume that they're lying like a law.
Don't know precisely what that means, but yes, they are very, very astute worshippers of that murder god.
Why does no one understand good cant here? They lie through their... What the hell's the phrase that you lot use? Through their teeth? Is that what it is?
Yeah,
Okay.
yes, they lie, they betray, and then they murder. Move on, find the next victim.
Oh, fantastic. I'm assuming that they're self-serving?
Self-serving, yes, they are very self-sufficient.
Not self-sufficient, self-serving. They won't murder people that are useful.
Once their use is done, they will typically betray and murder. Their favorite method is quickly and quietly in the dark.
By now, they've returned. So
I can hear them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tiela's like, we can hear you.
I sort of respond. Don't judge us all by that cover, though you may be right about me under certain circumstances.
So, here's the deal. Seems like you're about to end up falling over dead.
Continue.
We came upon you. We're helping you out. I think you can see how that's helpful at the moment.
A favor for a favor.
I'm assuming that you're probably much like me at the moment. Do you know where the fuck we are?
Not a chance. I was hoping you would.
Okay, like I said, same boat. So,
Our whole group is not from this place, and we're all pretty much trying to get home.
So a bunch of useful idiots.
more like strangers in a strange land. So,
Some
here's the deal
stranger
I
than
have for
others.
Yeah, we're all out of coves.
And say, bear with me here. This is a lot of exposition. Immediately, as soon as they start talking about strangers in a strange land, sort of thing, it all comes back to you, sort of thing. Maya, you were in the forest, and there was a promising lead that was leading you towards what you thought might be the location of your son, and making it closer into the forest, you noticed what seems to be an encampment. You were gathering closer, and just before you were getting ready to spring the trap, the air started getting a little bit cooler around you. You look around and notice that there was a thick fog rolling in through the canopy, and you thought to yourself, "Good, this gives me a good cover with which to approach. They'll never see me coming, and by the time that I get into range, it'll be entirely too late." And as you start moving in, you see the campfire. And you can see a group of what looks to be several people. They might even be druids. They seem to be, kind of standing around a bonfire chanting. And then you notice one thing out in the distance: a brightly colored. Well, he's wearing bright colors, like the sorts of reds, golds, violets that you're seeing in the Vardo now. That sort of garb stands out from behind a lot of these people performing this ritual at the bonfire, and he's wearing an eye patch over one eye, and he looks directly at you, gets a big broad smile, and that's when the final bit of the mist envelops your eyesight. You can't even see the faintest light of the bonfire anymore, and you kind of instinctually freeze. You don't really want to move anymore. And when everything kind of fades a little bit more into view, like when you can actually see things, you immediately decide to dart towards the nearest thing that you can see, thinking that you want to take cover because it's been blown. This guy's seen you. And as soon as you do, you take cover with behind what you think is a fallen tree, and wait for what you think is an eternity. But then again, you're an assassin. You've waited longer. And after a while, you notice that you can no longer hear the sounds of the ritual taking place. Eventually, the clarity returns back a little bit more. It's the middle of the night, which again it was when you first approached the ritual. But now, instead of sitting amongst the moss and canopy of a forest, you're now in sand, sitting in the copse behind a fallen piece of driftwood. And that's when you kind of bed down for the night, figuring, what the fuck, where the hell did I go? And what the hell happened? It must have been that brightly dressed stranger. He was probably a wizard or something. You also know about deserts. You've heard of them before. You've taken slaves from Kalimshan before, so you definitely know about deserts.
Yes.
And the very first thing that immediately pops into your head is that you were teleported somewhere.
Yeah. So.
And then coming upon the morning, that's when you found the body.
Okay. Can I take an action during that rest?
What action?
Sort of switch a spell out.
Yeah.
Knowing that I'm in a desert.
Absolutely.
I switch out Hail of Thorns for Goodberry.
Okay.
Survival is now the primary goal. Don't know where I am, but I know I have to survive.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like there's food anywhere in sight.
Yeah. You've seen like the occasional piece of driftwood, thinking that maybe at one point there might have been like an oasis nearby or something, or there's like a sufficient groundwater for certain like date trees maybe to grow. But for the most part, yeah, the one thing that you definitely don't see is you don't see crops, you don't see vegetation, you don't see the sort of thing that you can forage for.
Yeah. All right. And so as this all comes back to me, I lean into the woman who whispered to me and ask her, what do you know of a man with an eye patch dressed similar to you?
Well, first of all, does anyone else say anything?
Well, I was still mid-talk when her eyes went a bit distant, so I probably paused what I was saying and waited for her eyes to focus again.
Well, no, like I said, that's just kind of the aside.
Yeah, but I'm assuming that since you said she suddenly remembers,
That she had a flashback.
it was kind of like she was paying attention, then her eyes unfocused as she remembered. and now she's paying attention again.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have paused where she went out of focus, and I just start back up. So, here's my offer. You don't try killing any of us. We don't try killing you. Instead, since we're all strangers here, we play fair. And we figure out how the fuck to get out of here. Because the last place we were, everything was trying to kill us. There were musties rising up out of the ground. Crazy shit was happening. Massive fucking forced tantrum out of nowhere. And then we find a bloody musty hire. And we had to kill him.
Tiela kind of tells her then, like, with musties he means undead.
I point at Sarashaw, ended up proper dead. He was brought back, but ended up proper dead. Almost ended up proper dead a second time.
As he says that, I just sort of look at Sarashaw and laugh. Very, very amused.
Straight in the face.
So, again,
Keep laughing,
my
Drow.
friend-
I'll enjoy making you scream.
not if the deal's taken, you fucking won't. So,
She
Well-
breaks the deal, she's mine, correct?
if you can reach her first. So, my
Good
offer
enough.
is none of us try to sign anyone else's name. We work together, we get the fuck out of here, and we go on with our lives.
Leatherhead is
Nice.
giving me a fucking headache.
I say counter proposition. Everything you said, but when one of you dies, I get everything off your corpse.
No, not everything. Really, this is a hard sell, since the counteroffer seems to be you don't take the deal, well then, my hands are tied, you aren't going to work with us, so I'm not going to work with you, which means that our friend over here, who seems to have a hate on for you, ends up finding you alone at some point.
And I just sort of rub the head of my warhammer at the sound of that.
So, like I
I
said,
stop
bit of
for a
hard
minute.
sell here.
Ponder, thinking of the man with the eye patch, and get a little taste for blood in my mouth. And I ponder, I won't be able to find him if I'm dead or alone, and repay him for this. So I say, I look up and say, fine, for now. I accept.
As I said, you cross us, we
My
say
teeth
your
clench.
name proper.
All right. Well, that's where we're gonna call it, guys. It's 8 o'clock. We've been going for about maybe an hour and a half. So we'll pick it up probably next week. Everyone, good role play. I couldn't leave it on a cliffhanger this time. Sorry, guys, but yeah.
Well, you kind of did. We're in a wagon going to God knows where, and we just found someone who may or may not try to double cross us at some point.
Oh, I
May or
hope
may
she
not.
does.
Everyone, have a good evening. We've been D&D with Shitlords. Hopefully, we'll get into the nitty gritty next time.
Yay!
Later, fellas.
Have a good one, all.
Night.
Take care, everyone.
Bye!
See ya.